guys, hope you're doing very well. In today's video it's going to be another tattoo etiquette video. I've done a couple of these in the past. If you've never seen one of these videos before, I basically take a topic or a person or an artist and I talk about them in whatever way, and it's all to do with tattoos. It's kind of like a reaction video in all honesty, but I've just named this series Tattoo Etiquette. The most relative video to this video would be my Romeo Lacoste video. If you haven't seen that, I recommend that you watch that first, because the information that I talked about in that video will be very helpful to this video. I will talk about some of the stuff that I mentioned in that video in this video to make this video make more sense, but that video will be super helpful for you guys. If you want to know the ins and outs of a certain style of tattooing, which I will be talking about in this video. I hope that makes some sense. So the studio that I'm going to be talking about today is Bang Bang. It's in New York City. I have had quite a few requests for me to do a video about Bang Bang and the artists within the Bang Bang studio, so the artists that work there full time or guest spot or whatever. I've been requested to make a video on Mr. K. He's another micro tattoo fine line tattoo artist, but I'm not going to make a video dedicated to him, but I will mention him later on in this video for those that have wanted me to talk about him for whatever reason. So for those that don't know, Bang Bang in New York is a tattoo studio that is pretty much worldwide known. A lot of people bring it up, especially those that don't know about tattooing that much, but because Bang Bang is sort of like a worldwide known tattoo studio, it's the studio that people bring up when they want to act like they know about tattoos. A lot of people, when they try and argue with me about my taste in tattoo artists, when I say something like this tattoo artist's work isn't going to last that long, they always say, well, I know about tattoos. For example, Bang Bang Studio, all the artists in there are really good, blah blah blah, and it's kind of just like, there's plenty of very, very good tattoo studios in the whole wide world, and you just bring up that one because celebrities go to it. I see you, I see what you're doing. Bang Bang was created by a tattoo artist called Keith Mcurdy. I hope I'm saying that right. You guys know me that watch me regularly. I can't say people's names right, like, no. He's a celebrity tattoo artist. He's tattooed the likes of Rihanna, Adele, Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus, Rita Ora, and Cara Delevingne. Now there's nothing wrong with tattooing celebrities. After all, they are people too. They want tattoos too. It's the emphasis that these artists brag about tattooing another human being. Like tattooing Justin Bieber at 30,000 feet. Airplanes, private or not, are just big cans of flying germs. Like, that's all it is. Like, I can't even, no thank you. There's a good amount of articles online and in magazines and newspapers about Keith and Bang Bang and the fact that they tattoo celebrities, which to me has a super cringe factor. But on the other hand, I guess it's kind of a good thing because it's made tattoos a little bit more mainstream, so it's good for regular people like me and you that have tattoos, and people get to see them more often, get to see more tattooed people in mainstream publications, I guess. So I guess that's a good side of it. Like, I'm going to be fair in this video and say there is a good part of having celebrity tattoo artists because, like, they become popular. Elmo! Oh my god, I completely forgot what I was saying. I had to, like, go feed Elmos and treats so he'd quiet down. I think I was saying something about the fact that non-tattooed people get to see tattoos more often. They get to hear about tattoo artists and stuff like that because of these celebrities getting tattooed by them. So they're making tattoos a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more accepted. I don't know, it's good and it's bad. I'd love to know your thoughts on this kind of little topic here. You know, celebrities getting tattooed a lot and there's a lot of articles about it. Is that a good thing for us or is that a bad thing for us? So back to Mr. Keith Bang Bang Mcurdy. He's normally a realism tattoo artist just by looking on the website. He doesn't actually have an Instagram page, not that I could find. So there is the Bang Bang NYC Instagram page, but that normally showcases the other tattoo artists' work. I don't know if Keith has one. Looking on the website, you can see some of his work, and he mainly does realism, which I'm not going to trash him for. I think he's kind of talented within the realism side of things. The only thing he should stay away from is finger tattoos. Keith is a self-taught tattoo artist, which basically means he bought a tattoo machine online and you know, tattooed himself or tattooed other people in his bedroom or his house or wherever. But then he did go on to get taught the proper way of doing things in a studio, so good for him. Well done, Keith. Alongside Keith, there is 17 other tattoo artists working in Bang Bang. 17. I don't know of any studio that has that many artists. Like, that is crazy. They should rename it the Money Making Tattoo Machine, because, like, fuck me. The next tattoo artist that is listed after Bang Bang on the Bang Bang tattoo studio website is an artist called Liz. Liz specialises in fine detailed tattoos. If we remember back to my tattoo etiquette video on Romeo Lacoste, you'll remember me talking about single needles and how a tattoo needle works. So a 1RL or a single needle tattoo is exactly that. It's a tattoo done with a single needle, and you may be thinking, aren't all tattoos? Well, the answer is no. So a tattoo needle by itself, so a single needle or 1RL if you want to be technical, is a very, very tiny needle. They're so small, like unbelievably small. So Romeo Lacoste and other artists that do these very fine single needle tattoos will only use the one needle. But normally a tattoo artist that specialises in, say, traditional or neo-traditional, any tattoos that have big bold line work, they will use anything from like a 9RL to a 14RL. So that basically means there is 9 to 14 needles that make up one needle. They're kind of situated like this. That makes sense. They're all like stacked around like this to make it look like it's one needle, but it's not. There's quite a few needles going on in there. Single needle tattoos are generally just not a good idea. They don't last at all. I'll get more into that in a moment. Liz uses single needles in her tattoos, but she also uses bigger needles to beef up her tattoos, to make her tattoos last and hold them all together. This is how it should be done. I said in my Romeo video that single needles are good to add tiny little details within bigger tattoos. That's all they should be used for. I'm not going to go through every single artist within Bang Bang just because this video would be super, super long. Most of the tattoo artists do the same kind of styles, which is kind of confusing to me. There's obviously a couple of realism tattoo artists. I don't know if there's many traditional tattoo artists or if at any, to be honest with you, which to me is super surprising. Like, they could make a lot of money off of a couple of traditional tattoo artists because traditional is the way to go. The next artist that I want to talk about though is an artist called Rob that works there. He's a mixed bag, this one. He does a lot of styles. Yeah, he does quite a lot of styles, but he's also not afraid to copy other people's tattoos, which is a massive red flag. PSA, just don't go to an artist that's okay with copying someone else's tattoo. It's not, no, that's just no. But like I was saying, his tattoos are definitely all over the place. He does very small, fine lined, intricate tattoos, but he also does these colour pieces also. He's kind of like an all-rounder tattoo artist that will be like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do that, I can do this, I'll do that for you, yeah, cool, whatever, let me just do it type thing. He doesn't really sit down and specialise in one style, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of tattoo artists out there that do that kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But nowadays, with this sort of Instagram tattoo culture type thing, you'll notice a lot of artists will specialise in just one thing. There's plenty of artists out there that will do just kawaii tattoos or do just traditional tattoos. It's a thing now where people will go to a tattoo artist just because they do that one thing and they're good at it. So seeing an artist that does a variation of things is kind of rare nowadays. That's how it used to be back in, I don't know, the early 2000s or whatever, before Instagram. Tattoo artists will just do whatever. Let's talk about another artist that works there called Mare. She specialises in fine line tattoos. She uses single needles for most of her tattoos. Single needle tattoos do not last. They blur out, and when a tattoo blurs out, it basically means the lines just get thicker. It happens to every single tattoo. Nobody is immune to it. So that single needle tattoo, that very fine line, will get thicker, which causes a problem if the tattoo is very, very small, because as the lines get thicker it all starts blurring together, so you miss out the gaps or the highlights or whatever, because it all just starts merging together. Single needle tattoos also have a reputation of blowing out, and what a tattoo blowout is when the ink spreads underneath the skin and it causes a shadow. It's not like a huge problem, but it is kind of noticeable. I myself have a blowout. I've done a video on tattoo blowouts, so I'll leave relative links down below if you want to know more about a tattoo blowout, but you'll be able to see it, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But I have this traditional tiger tattoo here. As you can see, it's very, very dark, but there is a blowout just here. I've got this like shadow just here of where the ink has spread underneath my skin. This is quite a over the top hardcore blowout. Not all blowouts look like this. This is quite an extreme one. Yeah, single needle tattoos have problems when it comes to having a blowout. So you'll have a shadow around the tattoo or just in a tiny little bit of the tattoo, and sometimes it looks like it's just a part of the tattoo and you know you can get away with it, but sometimes it will go further than the tattoo and you can really notice it. But yeah, single needle tattoos are super problematic. They really do look pretty. I'm not saying they are an ugly tattoo or anything like that. Like, they are very pretty and dainty, and I don't know, they are clever. But in 10 years time that tattoo is not going to look anything like it does on Instagram. If you see a fine line single needle micro tattoo and you think, oh, that's so cute, that's so pretty, it's not going to look like that in 10 years time. The lines are going to be much thicker, it's going to be patchy, there'll be little chunks missing out of it and stuff like that, and there'll be a blowout maybe, possibly, and it's just not going to look like that. And these types of tattoos have been around for, I don't know, maybe 5 years maximum here. And tattoos last, you know, 40 to 60 to 70, however long you're going to live up to. So these tattoos have only been done for 5 years. So nobody knows how well they're going to last or how they're going to look in 10, 20 years. But from history of tattoos and stuff like that, you can see if you've got like a grandparent with a tattoo, or maybe your mum or your dad or whoever that's a little bit older that's had a tattoo for 10 plus years, you'll see that they start to look aged. And especially if you've got grandparents with tattoos, if you look at their tattoos and you'll see that everything looks a little bit blurry, it doesn't look so sharp anymore, and those tattoos are most probably traditional. Traditional is the longest lasting tattoo ever. Like, it will hold a lot longer than these micro tattoos, that's for sure. So you can just imagine what a tiny teeny little tattoo will look like in 10 years, let alone 50 years. Like, it just, oh my gosh, it will look like a blob. Okay, the next tattoo artist that I want to talk about is Mr. K. Now, this is the tattoo artist that I was talking about before. I've had a couple of requests in the past to talk about him solely in a video, which I don't want to just pick out one tattoo artist that is just on Instagram. Yes, I did a video about Romeo, but he's on YouTube and whatever. There was a lot to talk about when it comes to him. But yeah, Mr. K does tiny, absolutely tiny tattoos with the tiniest of needles, which is the single needle. Again, like I was saying, these have zero staying power. Within some of these tattoos that it will become patchy or blurred out. So Mr. K obviously is a talented artist, but he is not immune to the way the skin reacts to ink. It's not, his tattoos aren't immune to sun damage, his tattoos aren't immune to aging, and you know, people putting on weight, losing weight. It's honestly just the fact there is no artist out there that can prevent any of these things happening. It's just the way we are as humans, like our skin changes all the time. Honestly, this single needle tattoo craze is a nightmare for everybody, apart from the artists that specialise in it, because they just get money for doing it. You know, it looks pretty on Instagram. A lot of girls and boys fall for it. They see it on Instagram and they see their favourite celebrities getting these kind of tattoos. You know, whether it is, you know, a musician or an actor or an actress or a YouTuber. There's YouTubers that go to the studio as well. And they see them do this and think, oh, well, they know what they're doing because they're famous. And it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for normal tattoo artists as well. They get asked all the time to do tattoos like this, and I've spoken to a few tattoo artists that have been asked to do these types of tattoos, and they're just like, for fuck's sake, like, where is this all coming from? And now you know, it's from people like Romeo Lacoste, it's from people like the artists in Bang Bang in New York. There's a few of them all around the world that are causing this chaos. There is another tattoo artist that does this kind of style as well. Shock horror, there's quite a few of them. His name is Dragon. His tattoos annoyed me the most, I would say, if that's even possible. We've got this one here, if you can see it. Like, Jesus Christ, get your glasses on. And the stems say, "May you stay," if you can see that. It's like, if you don't know it's there, then you would never see it. But because the caption says, "May you stay," and then you zoom in, and it's just like, oh, I see it now. But to me, that's probably just like wishful thinking. Like, this is him putting it in saying, "May you stay," so the tattoo stays, right? Like, wishful thinking. And this one also that says, "Choose kind." Practice what you preach, Mr. Dragon. Like, oh my god, like, how can you say choose kind when you are not being kind to your canvas here by putting this tattoo on them, charging them through the roof for it, and it's only going to last 2 years maximum. Like, this one has a shelf life of about 2 years before that looks like absolutely nothing. This tattoo also looks very similar to a style that a tattoo artist does in Bang Bang. Her name is Eva. I've talked about Eva before in a couple of my monthly tattoo favourites videos way in the past. I'm talking like 2 years ago or so, because I was absolutely blown away by the detail that she does in her tattoos. Like, she is very, very talented. There's no two ways about it. Like, without a doubt, it takes a lot of skill and talent to do so much detail in such a tiny tattoo. But I've kind of stopped hyping her up, so to say, because I've stopped promoting. I'm not exactly promoting tattoo artists on my channel, but I don't want to, you know, send you guys to look at a tattoo artist and you're gonna get a tattoo that doesn't last that long. You know, I want to show you guys good tattoo artists and honest tattoo artists that won't charge you through the roof for something that isn't going to last 10 years or whatever. But yeah, there's no denying that Eva has a lot of skill. Like, it does take skill to make something look that detailed in such a small space. It's just a shame that she's doing this wonderful artwork on a canvas that ages in 5, 10, 20, 30 years time. These tattoos are going to look like blobs within 20 to 30 years, which is a shame because, again, she has a lot of talent. All of these colours and all of this dot work are just going to merge together, and it probably look good for the next 10 years or so. But if you get tattooed at 20, you know, you're going to live up until the age of, like, I don't know, 70 or 80. You've got that, like, 60-year period of having this tattoo. So yeah, you're spending a lot of money for something that isn't going to last you 60 years compared to a traditional tattoo. To me, tattoos are an investment piece. There's nothing wrong with spending a lot of money on a tattoo, but you have to be smart about your tattoo choices. You have to be smart with, you know, the style that you're choosing to invest your money in. Do you want that tattoo to last 5 years, or do you want it to last 50 years? If you're okay with a tattoo looking good for only 2 years or 5 years, then okay, fine, you can spend your money. Like, at the end of the day, there's nothing, you know, that's, you do you, it's your body, you do what you like. But I'm just sitting here trying to educate people to say, like, hey, be careful where you invest your money. You know, a lot of us don't have a lot of money. You know, we all work retail jobs, you know, 9 to 5s, minimum wage. And yeah, we like tattoos and we have to save up a lot of money for them. And the regular person cannot just drop $1,000 on a tattoo that's going to last 2 years. We just can't do that. But again, if people want to make that choice, that's up to them at the end of the day. So yeah, like I've said in the past, tattoo artists deserve the money they request for their tattoo. If a tattoo artist quotes you £400 for like a hand-sized traditional tattoo, that to me is fine, that's cool. Like, they deserve it because they are giving you a piece of artwork that will last you for the rest of your life. So here comes the kicker. Bang Bang Studios, their shop minimum is $500. $500. Like, $500. That's the shop minimum. So you're going to be paying more than $500 for their tattoos. Without a doubt. There are people out there spending more than $500 on a tattoo that won't last longer than 5 years. Do you imagine just being able to drop $500 on a tattoo that won't last that long? Like, fuck me. So there's no doubt about it that some of these micro tattoos, fine line tattoos, are costing more than $500, up to like $1,000, maybe even $2,000, $3,000. Like, you can just imagine how much some of these tattoo artists are charging, especially those ones with a bigger following on Instagram. And honestly, it's disgusting. Like, their target audience for the most part, are young, impressionable people that don't know anything about tattooing. They'll see their favourite celebrity getting tattooed by Keith or the other artists at Bang Bang, and they're just like, okay, well, these celebrities know what they're doing, you know, they're celebrities after all, they know everything. And it's not the case. Celebrities do not have time to sit down and research tattoo artists and research tattoo styles. They just don't have time for it. Like I said in my Romeo video, they barely have time to sleep. What makes you think they're scrolling through Instagram and through blog posts about tattoos and watching YouTube videos about tattoos? Like, they don't have time for it. You'll get people that are like, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever, that will see their favourite YouTubers get tattooed by these artists, or, you know, their favourite celebrities, and think, okay, I need to save up all the money that I have, I need to go to New York City and I need to be tattooed by these artists because, again, Rihanna's been tattooed by these artists, so that means they're good. And then they'll save up their money from their waitressing job or the waiter job or their bartending job or their retail job where they're not making much money at all, and they'll put in all of this money into a tattoo that will not last. And that's just not fair. Like, that isn't, like, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I'm scamming people like that. I know that's really harsh to say, but they are literally scamming people. They are charging people $500, $600, $800, $1,000, like, they're charging so much money for something that won't last. They're wasting their money. They're going to end up spending more money because they'll either need a cover-up or they'll need a tattoo artist to fix it or have, you know, a touch-up. But these tattoo artists don't care because they're getting a shit ton of money each day to do these tiny tattoos. Like, these tiny tattoos probably don't take that long. I think Eva's would probably take a little bit longer just because there's a lot going on in there. But these tiny little rose tattoos, they probably just take, what, 5-10 minutes, if that? Think how many of these types of tattoos a tattoo artist can knock out in one day. Just imagine how much money that studio's earning, these artists are earning. I can't, it's just a scam factory. Like, it's so bad. I guess the closing for this video is, do your research. Obviously, if you want single needle tattoos or micro tattoos, then that's fine, you do you. Just be smart about it. Don't spend a shit ton of money on it because it's not gonna last. Like, please, just, if you're gonna do one thing for me, guys, just don't waste your money on stuff like this. If you can find an artist that's local to you that can do these styles of tattoos and won't charge you like $1,000 to do it, then go ahead, you do you, that's fine, but please don't spend $1,000 on a tattoo that isn't gonna last. And like, it's just stupid. It really is. You know, saying that you've been tattooed at Bang Bang really isn't something to brag about. Like, I feel like some people go there because they can say, hey, I've been tattooed at Bang Bang, they tattooed Rihanna, Justin Bieber, Cara Delevingne. Like, okay, so once you've said that, then what? Then what? Like, what do you get from that at the end of the day? Like, don't be silly with your money. Like, I'm going to be a mother here and say, don't be silly with your money. Invest your money in a tattoo that will last. If traditional isn't for you, that's fine. I know, like, big, bold, traditional pieces aren't for everyone, and that's fine. Not everyone wants big, bold tattoos, I get it. But just please be careful with your money. Don't get blindsided by this celebrity status stuff. It's not worth it. Yes, you can say, oh, I got tattooed by a celebrity tattoo artist, but then what? You're down $1,000. What have you got to show for it? A tattoo that won't last that long. There's only so many times you can post a picture of your tattoo on Instagram. There's only so many times you can bring it up. Like, that bragging status of saying you've been tattooed by Bang Bang or the other artists in that studio, like, what's it worth at the end of the day? It's worth nothing. Save your money, get tattooed by a local tattoo artist or another tattoo artist that isn't going to scam you, and then if you have that extra $500 left from the $1,000 you've saved up, go on holiday, go travel, get more tattoos, treat yourself to something that's going to last longer than 2 years. You know, just be smart with your money, especially if you're young. Like, there's so many other things you can invest your money in, like decent tattoos that last longer than 2 years. I don't know. I know I really don't have a place telling people what to do with their money. At the end of the day, you do you, but just be smart about it. And the other motto is bold will hold. That is a saying within the tattoo world. Bold will hold, which basically means it will last. And these single needle micro tattoos are the opposite of bold. Anyway, I've rambled enough. If there's any other studios or tattoo artists or YouTubers or videos or articles that you'd like me to react to in my tattoo etiquette series, leave a comment down below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts on this topic and what I've said in this video. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are all doing very, very well, and until my next video, bye.